In Mexico, reports of dreams, intertwined with inexplicable experiences, began to proliferate during the second half of the 20th century. This era marked a consistent escalation in testimonies regarding anomalous aerial lights and nocturnal events that defied conventional reality. These accounts were never categorized as mere figments of imagination. Rather, they adhered to a rigid, recurring structure shared by individuals who occupied disparate geographical regions and distinct social strata. Despite having no prior interaction, the typical experience would commence during sleep, but rapidly transition into a state of heightened awareness. Witnesses articulated a vivid perception of their immediate environment, coupled with a physiological inability to move and an overwhelming sense of an external presence. The predominant emotion was not immediate terror, but a profound estrangement, as if the consciousness remained vigilant while somatic control had been temporarily abdicated. Frequently, these episodes were preceded by observations of silent, luminous objects in the firmament days or moments before the onset of sleep. By the 1990s, independent researchers sought to codify these testimonies with greater rigor. Informal surveys indicated that thousands of such reports surfaced annually across various Mexican states, with a marked concentration in rural zones and areas of low demographic density. While no governmental institution formally acknowledged these events, the sheer frequency and thematic repetition captivated journalists, psychologists, and civilian investigators alike. The hallmark of these reports is their internal coherence. Witnesses described virtually identical sequences of events without any mutual contact. These experiences often manifested as cyclical occurrences, returning through the years as recurring dreams, fragmented memories, or lingering physical sensations. In many instances, the impacted individuals only chose to divulge their experiences decades later, once the psychological weight became impossible to suppress. Within rural communities, these events were seldom dismissed as fantasy. They were interpreted as visitations or warnings, woven into the local oral tradition with sobriety. Though ignored by mainstream media, the phenomenon persisted in the periphery of private discourse and local archives, maintaining a resilient presence in the national psyche. The visual record, though limited, remained consistent. Blurred photographs and amateur recordings of stationary or silently gliding lights became increasingly prevalent during the early 2000s. While such artifacts lacked definitive evidentiary power, they bolstered the collective conviction that something anomalous was being perpetually observed. Ultimately, this vast archive of human experience poses a haunting question. Why have so many diverse individuals reported the same structural reality in the same nation across such an extensive span of time? When reports stop being abstract and begin to carry names, dates, and locations, the phenomenon gains weight. In Mexico, some cases endured for decades, not because of spectacle, but because the people involved never changed their account. One of the most consistent cases occurred in the state of Puebla in the early 1970s. The witness was an adult man with no relevant medical history. According to his testimony, he woke during the night, unable to move. The room looked exactly as it always had, yet an intense light filled the space. He described full awareness, no pain, and the clear sensation that time had stopped progressing. In the days that followed, memory gaps and recurring dreams began to appear, always returning to the same setting. What made this case remarkable was not the episode itself, but what came after. Over the course of decades, the man gave interviews to different, independent researchers at different moments of his life. The narrative never changed. The same sequence, the same details, the same restrained tone. This consistency turned the case into a reference within Mexican research circles, not because of physical evidence, but because of the stability of the testimony. A second case emerged in northern Mexico during the 1990s. A woman living in a semi-rural area reported observing stationary lights in the sky over several consecutive nights. There was no immediate contact. Days later, intensely vivid dreams began. They followed the same pattern every time, a sensation of displacement, an enclosed environment, communication without words, and an abrupt return to consciousness. The dreams repeated for months. Medical examinations revealed no neurological abnormalities or psychiatric disorders. Even so, the emotional impact profoundly altered her relationship with sleep and nighttime. The third case drew attention because its effects extended beyond a single individual. In the early 2000s, in the state of Veracruz, a young man reported a paralysis episode followed by recurring dreams after witnessing a silent light crossing the sky near his home. What distinguished this case was that family members also noticed changes: sleep disturbances, attention lapses, and dreams described with details that had never been discussed inside the household. The case was recorded by civilian researchers and discussed on local radio programs without ever receiving an official explanation. These three cases offer no definitive material proof. What they offer instead is repetition in human experience: conscious paralysis, suspended time perception, dreams behaving like memory, and lasting psychological effects. Elements appearing independently in different decades and regions, yet following the same internal logic. At this point, the phenomenon no longer looks like isolated events. It suggests recurrence over time, opening the path to a deeper layer of investigation.
If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.